today I'm going to be trying to rescue this Cymbidium orchid. I actually got this about a week ago when I was at a floral shop trying to buy someone a gift. And I saw this at the top of the discount shelf, and there was a bunch of Phalaenopsis, and there was this one Cymbidium that looked like it's seen better days, as you can tell. But I did see some green. Some of the green is actually fading, as you can see on this leaf right here. And I noticed some things that don't look too good, but I thought I would film a quick video and bring you along the process of cleaning it up, and then hopefully we get to see some blooms in the next 1 to 2 years, crossing my fingers. So here's a quick look of the plant. It definitely, again, has seen better days. There's some pseudobulbs that are still pretty firm, and there's some pseudobulbs that have gone a little mushy. The pseudobulbs are very important because it's actually where it stores most of its energy. The first thing I noticed is that this plant was actually sitting in a lot of water. And as you can see, again, the bulbs are squishy, and I think this is systemic rot. But if you look a little closely, you can see 2 new growth sprouts. This one's the more healthy one. And I just noticed today that the smaller one in the middle is actually kind of rotting off as well. So it's not looking too good, but we're gonna give it a go. And I do see some roots. Some of the roots have gone papery and have rotted or wilted off, but there's still some firm roots as well. So we're just gonna go ahead and unpot it. I'm gonna start by removing the stake. This is where the flower used to be. So it is flowering size. So yeah, let's remove the stake really quickly. Okay, so we're gonna use my sterilized snippers. I'm gonna go ahead and remove this flower spike. Ooh, it's coming off just as is. I didn't even have to use this, but yeah, there's this. And I think we can start unpotting it now. So this was sitting outside, so there might be some critters living in here. Trying to move them outside if I do see any. Let's remove it out of this pot. Okay, I do see some critters. I see a little centipede. He's really freaking out. Oh, there's a couple of them. Oh wait, it should be fine. Yeah, I'll give you a closer look at the roots. So the roots actually look better than I expected. There's some firm ones, like these are all firm roots, which is really, really nice. That one's actually a little squishy. And you can kind of see the velamen coming off, and that's where the root is. But yeah, these ones are firm, which is good, and it's in a pretty airy mixture. I don't really know where the critters went, but we'll see them. But yeah, okay. I kind of want to wear gloves, but let's just see what we can do here. Where are the critters? Just gonna shake off all. Oh, there's some wood bugs too. They're really cute. There's a little wood bug. Oh. It's trying to focus on my face, but I want to show you this wood bug. Oh, there we go. Okay, let me put it back in the soil. Yeah, let's continue removing the soil from this Cymbidium. We're just gonna shake off as much as we can. I see snails, so I wanna make sure I'm not introducing them into my home just because it's a little too cold to put these plants out right now in Vancouver. So yeah, I'm gonna just see what I can do and just remove all these old pseudobulbs that have unfortunately rotted off, like this one. It's a nice big one, but looks like it's rotten. Let's see if it can just come off. Not really, we might have to use some snippers. Just go ahead and, you guys can't really see, snip it off. Ooh, the juices are coming out. Don't want to damage any roots, so let's see what I can do here. That one's firm. Oof. Okay. Yeah, we gotta just snip that off. Just want to get this done and over with. So that is one mushy pseudobulb that has gone away. So we'll get rid of that. Let's see. Seems like this can be separated too. Here, give that a snip. Here's a second rot-in pseudobulb. That's the third pseudobulb that has clearly rotted away. Ooh, it doesn't smell good either. And these pseudobulbs are pretty firm, so I think we can keep those. There's also some sheaths that I'm going to try to remove. So let's chop off this yellowing leaf as well. There you go. So I just put the plant to the side. I'm going to clear all of this. Okay, that's a little bit better. So now we can just kind of see what we're working with. We have the plant and we have the roots. The roots actually look really good. Just not too sure what happened to the pseudobulbs. I might actually have to go in and remove the rotted roots. I might even separate it, to be honest, just because that one pseudobulb's not looking too good. Yeah, I think I might actually separate it. So there's this plant right here that I'm going to separate, and there's this plant right here. And you can kind of see that mushy pseudobulb that actually kind of stinks. I think it's best if I separate it off of that big pseudobulb just because the rot can spread. So yeah, let's just see if we can do a quick, just like break maybe. Okay. So that kind of worked. I have one plant right here with the new sprout. And then I have this second plant right here with that stinky pseudobulb right there. It's kind of falling off. So I'm going to try to peel it away from this live part. It looks like it's actually kind of separated already. Here's a closer look. I'm going to try to remove as much dead roots as I can. And these pseudobulbs right here, they're still pretty firm, so it should be okay. But yeah, let's see what we can do. Let's try to continuously remove some of these sheaths. Ooh, looks like this pseudobulb right here is starting to rot, so I might try to remove that one. Oh, actually, wait. I was going to show you this. This huge stinky pseudobulb. We have to get rid of it just because it's completely rotted. So yeah, let's chop away. Okay, there we go. So this group of bulbs is completely dead or just completely mushed. So I don't want anything to do with that because it could spread. But this looks okay, except for this pseudobulb that's hanging off. This one looks like it's actually about to rot off. So I don't want that rot to spread, but I also want to keep these two firm pseudobulbs with this green growth, just so it has some more energy to put out new leaves. So I'm just going to go in again and trim this pseudobulb off. Okay. Yep. Pretty rotted, as you can tell, right in there. Okay. I need to actually sanitize my clippers because I don't want the rot to continue to spread. Okay, so I'm left with these two. We do have a little bit of something, so it's all hope is not lost. I'm gonna clear my workspace again. I'm just gonna wipe away at this, just remove some of that rot or the rot juices. And I'm going to take it under a flame and just sanitize it really quickly. Okay, we should be good. Okay, so this is what we're working with today. These two Cymbidium plants. I also forgot to mention that I got these for $5.99, so it was $6 for this plant. So it was kind of worth the risk. And I'm just hoping that we can nurse it back to health together. So yeah, let's go through the roots and we'll see what we're working with. Okay, so I guess we'll start off here and just give them a little bit of a squeeze. This root's fine. These roots are fine. This is dead. Remove that root. I actually went through the dead roots on this bigger group of pseudobulbs, and there actually wasn't a lot of dead ones. This is all the dead ones we have, and this is what we're working with. So I'm going to put this one aside and then work on the smaller pseudobulb. Just trim that off right here. So I'm peeling away at these sheaths, and look, you can see some new growth coming out right over here, which is pretty awesome. Okay, we just put that one aside. We're gonna go ahead and do the same thing. Wipe off the rot juices and then sanitize with a flame. Okay, should be good. And right off the bat, with this smaller division, I see some rotten roots, like this one and this one where you can see the velamen. So just go in, remove all of that. This one is healthy. This one's healthy too. I should probably cut this leaf off too, but it's still pretty green, and I just want to transfer all of the energy back into the pseudobulb. So I actually might just leave this on, as much as it is annoying to work with. And this one has a beautiful growth that's doing really good, as you can see right here. Okay, so now I'm going to take these two plants and give them a good spray down, just to remove any remaining bits of the old medium, and we'll come back and get a mix ready for them. Okay, so I've quickly sanitized these roots, and I'm actually going to go in with some cinnamon, and I'm going to try to seal off that wound right here from when I removed that really old rotten pseudobulb. Just want to make sure I dry it out and ensure that that rot doesn't continue to spread. So I just have my separate cinnamon from the one I use in the kitchen. This is solely for my plants, so I can double dip as much as I want, which is nice. But let's open that up, and I'm just gonna try to strategically dump some right on top. I'm actually gonna grab a paper towel first and try to dry it off. I also forgot I had this brush, so we can use that to apply some cinnamon, but let's just use this paper towel to dry it out as much as we can. Just in between the bulbs as well. You can see the cinnamon I just dumped on earlier, but yeah, I just thought we'd dry it out as much as we can with the paper towel first. That looks pretty dry to me. I'll give you guys a closer look, but there's a new growth right here. And right in between here is where we are going to try to get some cinnamon in, just to make sure that that rot doesn't continue to spread. Here's my handy dandy brush. Let's go in and dip again. Just gonna dab some cinnamon in. Really dry that out. It's gonna dust this pseudobulb as well, this small one right over here. This one looks like it has some signs of rot, but the cinnamon method works really well. I actually saved my Monstera albo from rotting by using this method. So there it is. It's pretty well dusted with cinnamon, as you can see right here. That should be good. Maybe I'll dust off some of the old pseudobulbs as well. Okay, so I actually think this plant is good to go. I'm really happy to see that new little growth right over here. And yeah, hopefully that turns into a new plant. So we'll go ahead and put this aside and work on the second one. I actually see another growth on this pseudobulb as well, which is pretty cool. Right over here. Do you see this little white patch? That's a new growth. So this plant really does want to grow, but I just don't think it had the right conditions. And the soil looked pretty funky and it smelled pretty funky as well. It's pretty overwatered, wasn't getting enough light, so just kind of the perfect storm for these plants. I'm actually going to use this spray and just wipe down the leaves instead of dousing it in Safers. I got this when I used to work at a plant store here in Vancouver, and it's just a mineral feed and pest repellent. So yeah, it has water, calcium, magnesium, sulfate, eucalyptus oil, and spearmint oil. So we're just gonna give it a really good shake. And then I know the spray is broken, so just gonna do that. And we'll probably start off with this one right here. Just quickly give it a wipe, just like so. Well, as low as we can to the pseudobulb. This one's a little folded, it's like a taco. So just go all the way down. Now we'll do the bigger one. And last leaf. Okay. Yeah, these leaves were very filthy. Ready? Yeah. So now that we've taken care of their leaves, I'm gonna go ahead and start making a soil mix for them. I think I'm gonna be using this orchid / anthurium pot. There's already some leca at the bottom here. I was gonna repot one of my orchids in here, but it started to flower, so I didn't wanna mess with it. But I think this should fit both of them because they do like to be pretty snug in a pot. So we can do a little tester right now, actually. Ooh, maybe I'll do this one. Actually, might be too small. Let's see. This one here. Ooh, that actually might be too small. That's a little better. So I do have this bigger pot right over here. I think this one actually might be better. It's a little big, but you know what? I'm hoping for a lot of growth this summer, so I might just go ahead and pot it into this. It's an 8-inch pot. I think this one's like a 5-ish inch, so I'm gonna go with an 8-inch. So I already have a little bit of orchid mix in here. There's some sphagnum moss, there's some charcoal, there's some bark, and some perlite. And I think we're gonna go ahead and do the exact same thing. I know these guys are heavy feeders as well, so I'm gonna be adding a little bit of, ooh, this is heavy. Oh God, this is heavy. This is worm castings. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and put 40% bark in this mix. So I'm gonna try to do 40% of that. I've been really into orchids lately. Maybe it's because the orchid show was just about a month ago and I helped Roehampton orchids again this year. It was super duper fun. I saw a lot of people and I saw a lot of orchids, and I did get gifted a couple orchids and I bought 1 or 2 myself. So I'll give you guys a haul in the next video. And for this one, we don't need to scoop it. We can just pour it right in. Okay, I would say it's about 30% perlite. And then we're gonna do 20% sphagnum moss. And I have some extra sphagnum moss here from my old moss poles that I don't use anymore. So I'm just gonna put all this in. You can still kind of see the shape of the moss pole. Just gonna break it up. And Cymbidiums do really like an airy mulchy mix. So they're not quite like a Phalaenopsis that like to dry out in between waterings, but they like to remain moist and they like their medium to just drain out really, really well. So I'm just gonna try to make that mulchy mix that they're used to growing in to my best ability. So yeah, right now we have 40% bark, 30% perlite, and 20-ish% sphagnum moss. And then I'm gonna go in with that last 10% with some worm castings. I am just gonna add a little bit. They are terrestrial orchids, but I'm not gonna pot them in just a regular potting monstera mix. I want to ensure that it is very airy and that it drains really nice as well. So here are some worm castings. I'm just gonna do that last 10%. Just needs maybe a half more scoop. There you go. So this is the mix I'll be using. I'm just gonna go in and give it a mix. Okay, so this is what the potting medium is looking like. Very airy, but pretty fine enough that it mimics that mulchy mix that they're used to. And yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and start potting those plants up in that 8-inch pot. I have some leca beads in here, so I'm just gonna go ahead and put it in. And these leca beads will just help with extra drainage. So my potting mat is all sanitized, so I'm gonna go ahead and use this potting mat and put this on top. We just put the leca in, and here are the two plants. I'll just place them right in front of me, and we'll go in and fill up this pot with some mix. Okay, so it's about a little under half full. I'm just gonna gauge out how I'm gonna do this. Again, I want those new growths to be growing towards the pot, so kind of like that. And the old pseudobulbs push towards the back of the pot. And then this one has 2 new growths. So I might do something like, tuck that in. There's 1 growth there, 1 growth here. So something like that might be good for me. Okay, so we're gonna hold it in and try to infill the pot with just 1 hand. So place this here. And I don't want to bury these pseudobulbs, so I'm gonna shake and shimmy them just to ensure medium gets in between their roots, but I'm gonna try best to not bury these pseudobulbs. Okay, so I used most of my mix, but it looks like I need to make more, so I'll do that really quickly. Okay, so I just made some more mix and we're gonna continue to fill up the pot. Okay, so I think we got the pot mostly filled up. I'm just gonna go ahead and play around with it a little bit just to ensure that it stands up, because when I let go of it, it just kind of tilts away like that. So I might have to go in with a stake and tie it up really quickly. This is a little bit what it looks like on top, so pretty nice. Those pseudobulbs are sitting up and not underneath the potting mix, so that's always good as well. I think we're just gonna go in with this stake and stake it up. So I think I'm gonna stake it up just like this. Just tie the pseudobulb onto this bamboo stick. So I have some jute here that I'm gonna use. Don't need that much, so go ahead and give it a tie. Okay, so that's pretty sturdy. This second one with this funny leaf is a little wobbly, but it's standing upright, so I don't think it really needs something. I don't really think it needs a stake, but I think I could just lean this old leaf in between. And yeah, I think that looks good. and here it is. I'm just gonna clean up a little bit and I'll give you guys a closer look. Okay, so here is the Cymbidium Orchid all potted up, and I'm really happy with how it went. So let's talk a little bit about how we're gonna get this plant to recover. So I did mention we potted it in a very airy mixture, so the water should drain pretty great when I do end up watering it. The potting mix was already pretty damp when I repotted the plant, so I'm just gonna hold off giving it a full soak for about 2 days or so and just let the roots settle in. Also, because I did end up rinsing the roots, they basically got a little bit of a pseudo water. So yeah, I'm just not gonna go ahead and give it a good deep water yet, but I'm gonna go ahead and give it a flush when it's a little bit more warm outside and when the potting mix is ready. Here in Vancouver, our nights are dipping down to about 5 degrees Celsius, which is about 40 degrees Fahrenheit, I believe. And that's still a little too cold for a plant that's in rehab. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put it next to this east-facing window, which is right next to me. And when it starts to warm up, it looks like next week, we're gonna see the dips of 10. So once it hits double digits, I can go ahead and put this plant outside. I get about 2 to 3 hours of direct morning sun where this window is, and it's a little bit of a covered patio, so it should be okay if it does get a little bit of some afternoon sun. And yeah, I just believe it will do pretty good, and it's the perfect time for us to repot this plant and get it ready for the growing season. So here's one last closer look. As you can see, the pseudobulbs are not buried. The leaves are all clean. I might go in and snip off some of the dried out tips, but it's looking a little worse for wear right now, but definitely better than it was before. I was a little bit worried about the size of the pot. This was the old pot and this is the new pot. So this one looks like it's about a 6-inch or 6.5 inch, and this is an 8-inch. So we went up a little bit, but the root system looked healthy. There's some new growth that's gonna shoot out some new roots. So I'm pretty confident that this pot will be just okay as long as I don't oversaturate the potting medium and overwater this plant to induce more rot. So that's the plan for our mystery $5.99 rescue Cymbidium orchid. We don't know what color the blooms are, but hopefully we can get it to bloom together and we can find out together, which will be really cool. I don't think it will bloom this year. If it does, we'll be very lucky. But if you want to follow along the process, you can go ahead and click that subscribe button and you'll get notified when I post any new videos, and hopefully by the end of the summer, you get a notification that this plant is in bloom. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you are having a good start to the growing season, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care always. Bye-bye.